So, to trip plan or not trip plan?
That is the question.
Hi, I'm Tracy,
And I'm Christian.
and we are Tumbleweed RV Life.
We decided to live our dreams today and now, and not wait till tomorrow or someday. We do the research on the latest how-tos and RV products, and bring you the best we find scouring the internet.
And if you're new to our channel, hit that red subscribe button down below, and while you're at it, hit the bell next to it for future notifications on all our videos.
So what are we talking about? Actually, it's not doing today, it's what we're talking about today.
Yes.
What are we talking about today, Mama?
Well, we're talking about planning.
And what did we say at the end of season 2?
And the fact that
Here, hang on. This is what we said in season 2. We're kind of looking at some trip planning,
Yeah.
but it's kind of boring. I hate it. I just hate planning now.
I like winging it.
Going down Highway 1
Yeah.
and 101, I think
Yeah.
will be kind of the plan every day. And
Yeah. We said we weren't going to plan. We started planning.
or I started planning.
Actually,
Yeah, the project manager kicked in.
it did.
And it's because we had certain dates we had to hit.
Yeah.
Only 2 of them. So it's only really at the beginning of the trip, the first 2 weeks, that we really planned out. And things like, you know, how much cash do we need? How much is diesel going to cost? Border crossings,
Yes.
permits. So we did some planning on that, and we did use, road trippers.
Road trippers, yeah.
And it's great because it highlights a whole bunch of things to do and see, and restaurants and hotels and campgrounds, and it's really cool because once you've got it planned in road trippers, there's also a phone app, and the phone app can send it to your GPS, regardless of which GPS you're running, either Google Maps or Garmin. It's really cool. So let us show you how we did our trip planning. So why don't you join us today? Let's have some fun. So our major tool that we use for trip planning, and we're talking pre-trip planning now, we use road trippers, and we love it. There is a free version of road trippers, but I encourage you to get the pro. The free version only has, I think, 3 or 5 waypoints. We needed like tens of waypoints. So I think it's $29 US to get a pro license for a year, and it's been awesome. When you start road trippers, you come into the front screen and it starts right away. Plan a trip, explore places. There's a lot of featured trips that are pre-done for you. I like coming in through the profile. Here is the trip for this winter. So we call it Todos Santos. So we're going from Western Canada down into Baja, Mexico. We will end up all the way down to Cabo San Lucas. So let's go into this trip, how we've planned it.
Look at those spots.
Yeah, so
They overlap.
when we say we didn't plan, well, we kind of did. We'll zoom into the beginning of the trip. So here we are, we're leaving Regina, Saskatchewan. We're going to Red Deer to vote, then to Edmonton to get some service work done on both the camper and us. And then to Calgary to visit a friend. From there, we head out. The way we set this up is that we've planned all these waypoints that you see here, and you can turn them on and off. And so what we've done is that we turn off the ones that will be just visit locations, whereas the ones that are still on are actually end of day, where do we end up, and this way we get to count the days on the road. So we're going to Revelstoke, Kelowna to talk to the solar people, just to do some fine tuning on our settings for our battery manager. And then we're going to Hope, BC, and then we're going into the Vancouver area, and we cross the border. So as you can see, here's one in Seattle, which is just a waypoint to take us through Seattle. And another highlight of this trip is that we're going to be going to Yakima, Washington, to visit the where they make the Eagle Cap. So we're going to do a factory tour, which is going to be awesome. Can't wait for that. Up here there are filters. So for example, campgrounds, you can click this filter and say show me all the campgrounds. Boom, all the campgrounds appear. And let's just say we were looking for a campground near Portland. This one looks like in a good spot, so we click on it. And I'm just going to add it to the trip. And it's now recalculating the route. There we go. And now it actually knows, it calculates the logic to make sure that when you select a point, that it doesn't put it at last or first. It knows exactly where to put it on the route and gives it the appropriate number. It puts it right at the right place. So I put it number 10 here, and then if we wanted to, if that was just a sightseeing site, we can turn it off. Or I use it a lot of, see, and then it recalculates the rule. You're not stopping there. It's a potential stop, but it took it out of the route planning and put the route back on the main route. If you click on it again and hover down where it says add to trip, you hover down, you can then remove that waypoint altogether. You can use the filters up here to look for specifically for things to do. So you have popular, accommodations, attractions and culture, food and drink, outdoors and recreation, points of interest, camping, RV, and entertainment and nightlife. Here's another nice feature. This is the reason why I turn off certain waypoints. This tells me this is going to be the end of day 10. This is the day of 11. To go from 10 to 11, the distance is right here. It is 108 kilometers and it's going to take an hour 13. When we go between days, we can actually see how far the next waypoint is. Let's just say we did decide to go to these waypoints. We decided to hit Highway 1 or 101 quicker. We can go to this one. Should be around 10. So it's Jennifer Sears Glass Art Studio.
Ooh.
And we turn it back on.
I want to see that.
And boom. In this case it says it's quicker just to go there and come back to your main route. Now if we turn on Little Log Church Museum, it then calculates the route. Now in this case we have this waypoint in Springfield. That is where AM Solar is, and that was our priority at this point, or initially, to go here, and that's why we turned off these waypoints. So we'll just turn these off, and we'll turn off 11 and watch it recalculate. So it recalculated, so we're not going here at this point, but we have identified locations if we choose to, if for some reason we decided that 11 is not going to be a waypoint.
Well, we are going to Jennifer's Glass Art Studio. We are.
So if we wanted to, you know, on the fly change the route, and you can do this from your phone app too. We'll turn these three back on, and we'll turn off Springfield Armory, which is where AM Solar is. There we go. So now we're not even going through Eugene, and we're just heading over to the coast and starting our trip down the coast. And as you can see, we have a whole bunch of waypoints already predetermined that we can turn on and off. And even if they're not selected, you can still see them on the map. Look at all these campgrounds, because I have campground filters selected. Up here on your trip information, it gives you all the information on the drive time, the distance, and the estimated fuel cost. Let's talk about profiles. Going to profiles, where all your trips are too, there is a button that says edit profile. This is where you put in your vehicle information. You can tie your profile to your social media. You can post updates to your social media, you know, right on the fly from either the computer or your phone app. But this is where you put your vehicle information. So you can put cars, trucks, or vans, RVs, or motorcycles. The RV, camper, and motorhome default to 9 miles per gallon. Whereas with the cars and trucks, you can actually select the make and model, and it will have the specific fuel consumptions for that vehicle. So here we're at 9 miles per gallon, And that's what the basis is. So we'll go back into the trip. That is the basis for this cost, this fuel cost. So somehow it figures out along the route all the fuel costs throughout the different provinces and the states and gets you that fuel cost. And that seems reasonable to me. That's in Canadian dollars. That is close based on my quick calculation. That's how we do the main trip planning. We go and find some waypoints. Then when we're looking for places to stay, we're not campground people. So then this is where we go to the other screen. So we go to the other apps. So our go-to app is iOverlander. Definitely that's where we start because it's free. And when iOverlander starts, you'll see this donate button. We've donated because we use it so much. We wanted to encourage and support iOverlander. So we actually don't donate it, and we encourage you to also donate. Give them a few bucks their way to help keep improving iOverlander. So if you click on the screen, it brings up the map. You can filter out stuff that you don't need. Just before we hit San Francisco, we can look for sites. So love iOverlander, formal campgrounds, or do we do a wild camping, go up this road. If this one looks promising, then we go into more details and look at that. But more importantly, if you click on the GPS coordinates, it brings up this map, and see right here it says Google Maps. So you can then go look at it in Google Maps. You can look at it in satellite view. So, and you can go have a look what it looks like and what the area looks like. So you get a pretty good feel. And if it looks good, you can save it. And what we do is we save it to starred places. If it's a really good place that we want to go back to, we'll also save it to a separate save list or group for Tumbleweed for the future. What does a star location look like? So we'll take you down here. And so we have a couple here that are identified. I'll turn on satellite view. This is a starred location. It tells you where it is. And if it's got a street view, it'll give you street view. And this was an iOverlander site that somebody said they overnight there and there's no problem to stay there. So we always look for these first, and then we also look for alternatives in case these are not available. The next one that we use is Harvest Host. You can search by different locations or along a route. We just use the search by state or region. So we'll just go here into California, and it gives you all the places that you can stay overnight, usually one night, for free. That you're just expected to purchase something from the host, because usually it's a winery or a farm. We are going through in this area, so let's just pick something here, and you get information about the Harvest Host. So this is a winery. It looks really cute, and it gives you how many spaces: one, less than 44 feet, and pets allowed. And it tells you when they're open. Not everybody's open all year round, so open year round, daily 10 to 5. That would be the winery, the wine tour, I bet. And this is where you can request to stay, get directions, there's numbers, and you have to be a member. I believe Harvest Host is $79 a year, but you get to stay for free. So it's definitely, if you use it, I think if you stay somewhere like 2 or 3 nights, it's paid for itself. And then for formal campgrounds, because we're just traveling through the US, Passport America is good enough for us just to get half price camping. Go back to campgrounds, and there's an interactive map. So we'll go back to California, and here's a nice big map. I'll just bring it full view, and now we'll go back to our Eureka, and you can click on any of these sites and click on their name, and it gives you a whole bunch of information on that campsite. Passport America is always half price. It's 50% off the regular price of the campground. So in this case, $17.50 instead of $35. It gives you all the amenities that are there, the important campground notes, because it gives you specific information on Passport America discounts. So valid for one night max only. In this case, reservations are recommended, drive-ups are welcome. PA discounts not valid for 10 sites, no alcoholic parties. Oh. Rates are for 2 people, $2 additional charge for each extra person, and $2 per pet. Over here you can see in Google Maps, just like iOverlander, you can look in satellite view and you can get a closer look. This is really cool. You can see trees. In this case we would get power, and the power would charge up our batteries.
Oh, true.
And that's only when we stay in a campground. But if we're staying somewhere free, iOverlander, this is where we would look at, you know, are there trees, are there shade, are we going to get solar power out of our panels? If this looks really good, again, you can save it. So you can save it to your list, whatever. You can create custom lists, but we like to start locations because they show up when you zoom out of the map. Navigation on our phones and also on a Garmin. So we have a Garmin RV, we have a video on that. We do use Google Map on one phone, and the other phone is running Road Trippers. You go to Road Trippers and then profile, just like in the other one, and then hit the trips. There's Todos Santos. So you pick a waypoint, then hit navigate. I use this typically to send it to the Garmin. For the starred location on Tracey's phone, she can go to the same star location and put it on her Google Maps, and then I send mine to the Garmin. The Garmin is kind of touch and go, especially in Canada. It's not always accurate. We're questioning its logic in planning trips, but anyways, we use it because of the it considers the dimensions of the RV, its width, its height, its weight. So it's supposed to take us away from roads that the RV shouldn't go. So in this case, I'll send it to Google Map. So it found the location and hit directions. It needs a starting point. And bingo, there you go. It's ready to go.
The most important is the height restriction, right?
We've gone down a few roads where they're just using Google Maps, and you turn the corner and all of a sudden there's a bridge there, and it's like, we can't fit under that bridge. And we've had a few times where we've had to back up, and it was not fun.
No.
We're hoping that the Garmin does a lot better in the US in route planning. We'll do a follow-up video once we've gone down the road a bit and we've played with all these different apps. It'll be more on the phone at that point.
Correct.
And we'll do an update to see how everything worked. What do you guys use for trip planning? We'd be interested to know. Please just leave it in the comments below.
And while you're at it, hit that like button if you liked it.
And check out all our links below. We have some interesting things down there. And in the meantime,
we'll catch you on the next one.
yes, we will.
We gotta get this thing done. My feet are frozen.
Yeah, darn it, it's cold out here.
My feet are frozen.
And remember the other day, if you look at the previous video, it snowed. It was snowing, and guess what?
It stayed.
The snow's still here.